Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, John Lone. In this episode, don't have regulars because reasons, I guess. As for our guest, he's from Anglesey, Wales. He's co-author of the books Decades, the Bee Gees in the 1960s, and Decades, the Bee Gees in the 1970s. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Andrew Hughes.
Hello, how's it going?
Great.
Good.
So,
Pleased to be with you this evening.
yes, indeed. So, how's life?
Hectic. A lot's going on. Between one thing and another, between the day job and writing these books. Because, as you said, we've got the decades, the Bee Gees in the 1960s and the 1970s out, but we're contracted to do another two volumes as well. We've got to do the 80s and then the 90s up to the present day. So there's still a lot of work still to be done.
Hmm, interesting. And besides that, is anything else you've been up to recently?
Well, actually, my co-authors, Grant Walters, he lives in Columbus in Ohio, and Mark Crowan, he's from Melbourne in Australia. They both actually came to visit. So we had a great 9 days together, which included doing a couple of book talks. We did one down in Tame, where Robin Gibb lived from 1983 until he passed in 2012. And we also did one here at Bragdy Cubby, which is our local microbrewery in Holyhead. We did some radio work, and we also had S4C's Henno program, which is their nightly weekday magazine program. So that was really, really good. It was good to get the media coverage for this.
Oh, nice, nice. So, what inspired you to create a decade by decade biography of the Bee Gees?
Well, the three of us have been fans for a long time. Mark has been a fan since 1966, because he obviously was party to their Australian material, when they were living down there between 1958 and 66. And Grant and myself, we there's about 10 years difference in terms of our ages, and I'm the oldest. But we got into them at about 1978, around the time of Too Much Heaven, Tragedy, Love You Inside Out, that Spirits Having Flown album. So we've all had varying degrees of involvement. Grant set up like an email list server, lots of it for the Bee Gees, which joined a lot of fans up, lots of it from around the world. And Mark and I, we co-authored another Bee Gees biography called Tales of the Brothers Gibb back in 2000. Now that's gone to 4 English editions, and it's been translated into German, into Russian as well. So that did quite well. We had quite a pause in between doing this current series of books, and the original intention with the publisher, that's Sonic Bond, who are based down in Tewkesbury. The original intention was to make a single book called On Track, every album, every song. So we started writing that with the aim of going to the usual parameters of about 65,000 words. But the Bee Gees catalogue is so vast, it spiraled out of control quite quickly. We got up to about 144,000 words, and I said to the publisher, look, we got a major problem here. What can we do about it? So he says, well, we're doing a new series of books now called Decades. So that's what we'll do with it. We'll split it up into the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And I persuaded him to let us do the 90s as well. So I can't see the point in writing a series of books which doesn't cover the entire career, because it's all worthy.
Ah, all right then. I can see that.
Makes good sense, I think.
Yes, of course. Have you done any other author-related work besides the Bee Gees?
Uh, I've done a lot of writing. Most of it is Bee Gees related. I've done a lot of stuff like CD notes, DVD notes, tour programs, and stuff like that for them. I've done a little bit of other writing as well, because I actually work at Anglesey Circuit. That's the motor racing circuit in here in Anglesey. And my business card says that I'm the press officer, and that's what I'm supposed to do. So obviously, like sort of, I do a lot of stuff, like sort of in terms of press releases for newspapers, and the local papers being what they are, they just copy and paste what you've written, which is actually great because that's what you need to have said. But I also did a season writing race reports for Autosport and Motorsport News. But that's pretty much it, really.
Okay, very good. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Happily retired, I hope, like, and traveling the world.
Nice.
Probably sort of in the pursuit of records and live music. I've always based my travel around around concerts and stuff along those lines. I've travelled around Germany, following the likes of the Bee Gees and Barclay James Harvest, and one of my favourite German artists, Peter Maffay. Um, I've travelled all the way around Europe, lots of seeing gigs, and even ventured over to the States, lots of because my wife's American, lots of so seems to make sense to spend some time over there, lots of while we were courting, and get some gigs in at the same time.
Nice. Very good. Very good. If you were chosen to colonize a new habitable planet, would you take the opportunity?
Um, I'll keep this one short. No. um, give me a reasonably sized island, and I'd populate it with nice people. Have a music venue, a microbrewery, and a 10-pin bowling alley. I think like that would pretty much cover everything I need there.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
Would you like to
It,
live there?
oh, I'll think about it, but for now, I'm happy where I am.
Okay.
If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use it for?
Well, that would be part of my little country that I've just talked about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
500 acres. What sort of I think I could put that to good use, lots of agriculturally. Like, I think my local brewmaster, lots of would quite like me to grow some hops for him and some barley.
Intriguing. Have you ever heard of a drink called banana friche?
I can't say I have. No.
I get that a lot, so it's understandable.
So do you ask all your guests that question?
Yes,
Ah,
nearly every time, yes, and I always get the same response.
I,
Example,
I would imagine so. Would you care to enlighten me? What is it?
yeah, so banana friche is like a smoothie slash milkshake that has all the tingly sensations in the world.
Okay, that means it's healthy, does it?
I guess so, yeah.
Hmm. says he. Let's sort of taking a slug of beer.
Ah, very good. What improved your life quality so much you wish you did it sooner?
Um, I think getting a couple of dogs. My wife had a dachshund while she was living in Oregon, and Honey sadly passed away a few months before Judy, my wife, was scheduled to come over to settle over here. Um, so we felt that it would be appropriate that we got a little dachshund, and her name was Honey. She's 4 years old now, and about 6 months ago, we got a little male as well, and his name's Benny. And they have just totally transformed our lives. They're just wonderful little creatures.
That's nice. I know what to expect. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation?
That could possibly be the Bee Gees. Although 40 minutes probably isn't long enough.
Fair enough. I mean, 2 decades already of the Bee Gees' history. Surely 40 minutes is not enough.
Well, no, like I said, these two books at the moment, that's about 250,000 words there. So, yeah, like I said, there's a lot to be said.
Yep, absolutely. Do you prefer headphones or earbuds?
Oh, headphones. Although I prefer not having either, to be quite honest with you. I just prefer listening to music through speakers.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Do you prefer pens or pencils?
I'm currently holding a pencil.
Ah,
Um, you can rub out your mistakes, can't you? But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm a Virgo. Let's sort of my rubber is intact. Sort of
Yep,
I don't make many mistakes.
yep, fair enough. If you could erase one past experience, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a very difficult one because, as I say, let's say I don't make mistakes. So, one past experience. Um, I think if I could avoid having to work for one of the bosses that I worked for, that would probably have been the most beneficial thing for me.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want to go into detail on that one. It was horrible.
I can understand that, yes. If you had a song for every time you enter the room, what song would that be?
Um, this is a strange one. I've got two songs that go through my mind quite often. Um, the first one is called "Believe It or Not" by Joey Scarborough, and that was the theme to The Greatest American Hero. That was a hit in the States in the early 80s. Um, it didn't do anything over here because we didn't have the TV show here. But that one, I would love to have that play every time I walked in the room. And the other one, whenever I go to the bathroom, I whistle "I Was Kaiser Bill's Batman" by Whistling Jack Smith.
Oh, that's those are pretty good choices. When things break, do you prefer to fix them or replace them?
It depends what it is. If it can be stuck together with super glue, or or it doesn't look like it's just been recobbled together, with screws and nails and gaffer tape and stuff like that sticking out. It's got to look right. If it doesn't look right, I would prefer to replace it. Totally unlike my father, who was an engineer, and he loves taking things apart and fixing things properly, and probably making them unbreakable.
Huh, interesting. What's the most useless talent you have?
Most useless talent. I don't know. Have I got a talent at all? Have I got a talent that's useful, let alone useless? Um, I can grow extremely long nasal hair. Is that a talent?
I guess so. Anything could be talent these days.
I don't know. I could be in the Guinness Book of Records with that one.
Yeah, intriguing, I might say.
That's a good job we're not actually on webcam with this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's best to stick to audio. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would you have a good chance at winning a medal for?
Um, any activity, right? Okay. Eating cheese. I think
Oh,
I'm
that,
an absolute cheese monster.
okay.
Usually got between 12 to 15 different varieties of cheese in the fridge,
That's mad.
and it was Shropshire Blue this evening.
All right then. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Um, oh, that's a really difficult one. It's a really difficult one. There's so many memes about nowadays, like sort of, that have got really good things on them, like sort of, and I can never remember them. I don't know, what sort of to be or not to be. That is the question. There you go. That's a good answer to your question, isn't it?
Yep, close enough.
If music be the food of love, play on. Instead of Shakespeare, you'd think I was an intellectual, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would seem so, yes. What item has drastically improved your life?
What item? Hmm. Records and CDs. Anything with a playable music format, which is tangible. What sort of I don't like downloads and streaming and stuff like that. I like tangible product. So music is an absolute passion of mine, as you've probably figured out. Um, so yes, and any playable format like that. Lots of records are my absolute favorite. Although you have to get up and flip it over, like sort of to hear the whole thing, but the entire package, like sort of with the with the large format artwork and lyric sheets where the font size is big enough for you to actually be able to read. Yeah, vinyl records. That's the best thing in the world.
Yes, absolutely. If your life was a meal, what kind of meal would it be?
If my wife was a meal,
No, life.
if my life was yeah, let's sort of hang on a minute. Let's sort of, this is going down the road of cannibalism here. Let's sort of get out of here pretty sharpish. No, if my life was a meal, um, it would probably be a bit kind of cheesy. Hmm, a meal. I think I'd just be the cheese board. It would be the cheese board. Like sort of forget your starters, your entree, and your sweet. Let's just get straight into this into the cheese board.
Oh, yes, get right into it. What is the best way to start the morning?
Um, best way to start the morning. Oh, bacon. Bacon. That's the best way to start the morning.
Greasy.
But what you do is, what sort of you save the bacon grease, you see,
Ah,
and
all
then
right.
and then you make fried bread with it.
Ah, all right then. I can see that.
Mm.
If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
The ego has landed.
Sweet.
It's a couple of projects I've got, lots of side projects going on, lots of which may eventually materialize. Lots of there's I was going to call one of them the ego has landed, and there was another one. Lots of because I served in the Royal Observer Corps during the Cold War, and I went over to East Berlin during that period. So I'm trying to put something together about that kind of time as well. And like I know the title's already been used, but it was by Spike Milligan actually. I was going to call that one the Berlin Wall, my part in its downfall, which I just thought was a great title. Like sort of, and I don't care if it's plagiarized because it'll just be for me.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. If you had to bury a treasure chest, where would you hide it?
Um, Underground somewhere. So that's the only way you can bury things, really, isn't it? Where would I hide it? In the middle of the racing circuit where I work, probably. Lots of it because people couldn't get to that while the cars are going around, could they?
Yeah, of course. If you can get anything you wanted for free from one store for the rest of your life, what would it be?
We could do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo here. Lots of it could be beer, cheese, or bacon. So
All right then.
take your pick out of that lot.
Buonissimo. If you could create your own job title, what would that be?
Um, it's this just the job title, or do I actually get the job as well?
Hopefully, yes.
Hey, Prime Minister. Well, I said, you can't be doing any worse than this current lot.
Fair enough. Yes. And anything's better than nothing, to be honest.
Well, I don't think I'd end up in the Guinness Book of Records. That would have been the shortest serving. That's what Liz Truss has got that one well and truly sewn up.
Yeah, nothing can beat her. If you were hosting a dinner party and could invite anyone you wanted, dead or alive, what 5 people would you invite?
I've got to swing back to the Bee Gees here. I've met them many times. Like I said, it was on first name terms with all three of them. But sadly, Robin passed in 2012 and Morris in 2003, so they would most definitely be on the list. I never met their younger brother, Andy, so I would certainly invite him. I think somebody like Nancy Pelosi, I think I would really like to invite. I really admire her. Lots of she's the previous Democrat Speaker of the House of Representatives in the States. I really admire her. And fifth one, everybody seems to say Jesus Christ or Hitler, don't they?
Yeah.
But no. I think I don't know. I'm strangely drawn towards Barack Obama. Like sort of, he just seems like a really nice bloke. He seems to have a good sense of humour. Like sort of, and he can sing, and I don't know. I think he'd be a good party guest.
All right then. That's an interesting list.
Well, he's a nicer bloke than Donald Trump.
Yeah. Lol.
Although, like sort of, I think Donald will be clamouring for any party invites that he gets shortly.
Yeah. He's everywhere. Everyone knows his name.
They do.
Yeah. What's something that always makes you laugh?
Always makes me laugh. People in unfortunate situations, like falling downstairs or something, like sort of, it's just the shapes they throw. Like sort of it. I know you shouldn't laugh at anybody else's misfortune, but these compilations you get on YouTube and stuff like that, like it's not as if you can go out and help them, is it?
Yeah. They still happen anyway.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
Oh yes. If you can know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask?
That's another really difficult one. That's a toughie. You're really putting me on the spot with these ones. Is Donald Trump guilty of all these things that he's being accused of? I think I know the answer already.
Especially how long it's been dragged on for.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Oh, I'm sure we'll know some stuff fairly shortly. Lots of he's got a lot of stuff coming up in the next few months.
Either way, we won't like it.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It is what it is. That's life, you know.
Yep.
What was the stupidest joke you've ever heard?
Stupidest joke I've ever heard. I don't know really. Let's hear this. It's probably so stupid I didn't really want to remember it. These riddles and things like that, lots of them my grandfather used to say, lots of them when I was a kid, what gets wetter as it dries? And you kind of think, what? What does get wetter as it dries? That's a question.
I'm assuming his humor, because I don't know.
A towel,
A towel, yes.
and what goes up a chimney down, but not down a chimney up? An umbrella. those riddles, they're not exactly jokes, but what sort of they used to kind of stump me as a 5 year old.
Yeah, it really boggles the mind, even today. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
That's fairly easy. I think most people would like to be younger than they are, but I actually think I'd like to be older than I am. I think I would have liked to have been a teenager in about 1967, that kind of time. So the 60s would have been the the ultimate, time for me. I think, like I said, with all the great stuff that was happening in music, and then of course, like I said, if I would have been right there, ready for the 70s as well.
Yeah, those were the days.
My friend.
Yes. Would you rather never age physically or never age mentally?
Um, I don't think I've aged mentally at all already. Um, I'm starting to feel a bit of the aging physically. Um, yeah, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting one. The I think as long as I don't go gaga, I'd prefer not to age physically.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yeah, aches and pains, nah, not pleasant.
Absolutely. If you could see one movie again for the first time, what would that be?
Uh, there's been a lot of great movies made over the years, and I've got fond memories of a lot of them. Um, the Railway Children from 1971 with Jenny Agutter, Peter Warren, and Sally Thompson. That was probably my favourite movie of all time. That one. Um, yeah, it's going to be the Railway Children for me.
Sweet. What's your favorite season?
Autumn, without a shadow of a doubt.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
What a time of the year.
it's cool. Like I don't do heat very well. And I like the nights closing in, because, well, as you can tell, I'm a bit of a night person. And that's when I write best.
Okay, I could see that. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you on, Andrew, talking about the history of the Bee Gees and everything else. It's been great.
Everything else, I'll say. So anyway, it's been fun. Thanks for having me, and good luck with all your podcasting.
Thank you. And until next time, stay tuned for more.